Hey everybody, it's time for me to provide another update. We're at December 3rd, time is flying by pretty quick. But anyway, time to give you an update on where we are with the process with Instant Imprint Charlotte. And then what I want to do is touch on another subject, and this is a really contested one that's out there, and it really depends on who you speak with. But it's a good topic to understand, is whether or not to do a franchise or to become an independent entrepreneur, if you will, go it alone. That's there, and I'll touch on that topic. There are pros and cons, like everything, to it, but I will at least touch on why I went the route I did with franchising and so forth. But as far as the store update goes, I actually have finally executed my contract with my GC, so hopefully permits are in process as well, so we'll get those back soon. And then and then with that, you know, if everything aligns, it still looks like we could begin at the very least get demolition done in 2019 and start the new year with the actual construction of the space. So as far as that goes, everything's still great, looks good, and very satisfied with the way my contract ended up. Timing, I wish it would have been faster. I think if you speak to anyone in my shoes, we all wish we could get everything done yesterday and have doors open tomorrow. But that's that, and we're still looking at an end of February open at this point, and I'm saying that without having a construction schedule yet. So on to the main topic, and hopefully I'll make this a little bit quicker than the last the last video that I put out. So when you think about entrepreneurship, there's sort of two main roads you can go. One of which is to go into franchising. So you're buying a license to operate under a concept, under a specific name, and be part of an existing ongoing business. The other route that you can go is start something on your own. Okay, and there's pluses and minuses to that. And even within my own industry, I have a person that I know through my Rotary organization who has an independent business that's in the same industry that I'm at, and they're doing very well, and has been a long-lasting. I think they've been open over 30 years, a long-lasting business, and certainly. His view leans towards going it alone. That's there. When you go and buy into a franchise, there's a couple of things that are out there. You're going to pay a franchise fee. That franchise fee that you pay generally isn't really a revenue source for the parent company. That's mainly covering the cost of getting you set up, all of the support that hopefully they're providing you to get your store open, training, other materials, legal and so forth for them. So they really don't make a lot of money off of your franchise fee. Where a franchise makes money off of its franchisees is through on the royalties, typically. Okay, and at least that's the way it is with Instant Imprints. So they want me, the more I sell, the more money they make. So it's in their interest that I succeed and do well. And that's an important thing to understand. And depending on the organization, the company that you buy into, those royalties are typically going to be somewhere around 6% of your sales. Okay. In some other businesses and other franchises, they may also require you to buy buy your goods directly that you're going to sell directly from the franchise itself. Think of like McDonald's, right? So McDonald's wants control over all of the food that their stores are providing to the people. So if you want to sell a hamburger, you've got to buy it from McDonald's, okay? And so some franchises will make some money off of the selling of the raw materials for your product, if you will. But typically, at least in Instant Imprint, the company is making money off of those royalties. And so the cost of my going into a franchise is going to be my franchise fee, my ongoing royalties that I have to pay associated with my sales. And then there's also going to be a part that I'm contributing into a national marketing fund. So all in all, about 8% of my sales are going to have to either go back to a revenue source for the franchise, or and a small portion of that will also go to the National Marketing Fund that's there. So these are the cost of going into a franchise, okay? Now, if I were to do what I'm doing now as an independent store, I'm going to be doing that, I'm going to save that franchise fee. I'm going to save the royalties, all right? So my business, yes, ongoing is going to be more profitable. But what do you get from a franchise versus going it alone? In a franchise, what you are buying is you are buying an existing process. And that's really what's most important. You're buying a process, a concept. And if you're going alone, you have to develop whatever that business is, that concept. You have to figure out what equipment you need. And it's going to take time that's there. And depending on the type of business, that ramp up time could be a couple of years. It varies widely business to business, but that's essentially what you buy with a franchise is you buy a head start on your business. Okay, I don't have to worry about processes and procedures. Those are done. I don't have to worry as much about what do I sell. Okay, well, the franchise has figured that out. Here it is. This is what you're selling. These are your concepts. Here is training on how to do what you need to do, how to run your business. I'm sort of having an organization walking me through, and it's speeding up that process. I'm still going to make mistakes. Gosh, I've already made a lot of them. But I've got someone to help coach me through that. If I were doing this alone, it would cost me, my mistakes would be more expensive and take a lot longer. And it just depends on what, that's not a bad thing. It's not a good thing to be in a franchise. It's not a bad thing to be in a franchise. It's just, I'm spending more money to shorten that time period to when my business is up and running, breaking even, makes it easier for me down the road if I need to sell it, okay? Now, one of the negatives that's out there, when you're dealing with a franchise, you're paying money and you're signing up to operate under that business's name, under their marks, under their processes. And depending on that franchise that you're a part of, you may or may not have a whole lot of leeway, all right? I'll give you an example. So my store, I'm building out my store, and part of the cost of my store is I need to make it look consistent. I need to make it look like an Instant Imprint store, all right? And it comes with a cost. There are some things that I'm putting in my store that I may not have wanted to do if I were doing it on my own. So I, to a degree, have been limited by that. Now, the way that store is set up, it's set up for a very good reason. Okay, it's a successful process that's there. However, down the road, if I want to change it, I can't change my colors. Okay, I can't go and change my logo if I want something new or fresh or whatnot without the franchise wanting to do that themselves. Okay, some things I can't change the business. All right, if I decide that I wanted to start selling coffee out of my store, I cannot do that. Okay, there are limitations to a franchise. And then down the road, when I do want to sell, they're going to help me sell it. So there's some benefits. They're going to help find someone to buy my store from me. Okay. However, the franchise is going to want to approve that new person. So they may be willing to buy it, but if the franchise does not agree or do not think that they would be good in the network, I'm going to have a problem. And when I say a problem, I'm just not going to be able to sell it to them. Okay, and so the franchise has to protect itself, but there are limits, and they are, you're buying into this process. That's what you're doing, so don't change the process. All right, so that's a little bit of the difference between franchise and going it alone, and certainly there's also other benefits with a franchise. I have a huge network of people that I can go to figure out how to do something. It happens all the time where someone gets a request for a particular product and they don't exactly know how to make it. All they have to do is send a note out to our work group, and somebody somewhere in the network has done that before and has the solution. So you can get those kinds of things pretty quick throughout the network. When you're independent, okay, depending on the business you're in, there may not be, you may be on your own, okay? Your best friend's going to be Google at that point, okay? Or YouTube. YouTube's a great resource for videos on how to do things. So it just depends on what your level of comfort, okay? Going it alone, if you are an absolute expert in an industry or doing something, maybe going alone is a great way to do it. A franchise, you may not have any background in what the franchise is doing. And for many of them, that's okay. They're going to show you how to do it. The manufacturers are going to show you how to do it. Your job, particularly as an entrepreneur, isn't necessarily the doing or the making of things. It's running a business. And whether that business is in the print business or whether that business is making water ice. You have a business to run, and that business needs financing, it needs human resources. You are managing and hiring and firing and doing all the things you have to do as a business that doesn't really have anything to do with the product itself. That's critical to an entrepreneur, is knowing, look, your job is to build an organization and run it. If you're working in the business, ultimately you're probably going to fail, okay? You need to be working on your business, not in it. Hire someone to do the doing, whereas you as the entrepreneur are focused on your business. And buying a franchise is buying a shortcut to how to run your business. All right, thank you. That's all the update I have for this week. If anything new comes up, hopefully next time I'm posting a video, it's posting about approved building permits. And at which time then we'll be in the process of getting a construction schedule, and I'll update everybody on that. Thank you, and have a great weekend.